Hey everybody, this is Sean Zalmanoff with Next Level Loan Officers Podcast. We are here with Kenneth Travis, and you know what? I bet if you asked Kenneth Travis how he's doing today, he'd tell you if he's doing any better, he couldn't stand himself. But let's ask the man himself. KT, how are you today?
Man, I'm doing great. If I was doing any better, I couldn't stand it.
We are joined by Alexa Ward today. And so we have producers on our podcast, that do a lot of business. We have producers on our podcast and guests that do all different varying degrees of business and where they're at in their careers. And Alexa's been in the mortgage business for a couple years now, but full-time originator for less than a year, about 8 or 9 months that she's doing. That you've been going at it hardcore. And there are some pretty impressive things, Alexa, that you've done in your business. And we really wanted to share with loan officers, whether you're starting out in your career or you need to start out in your career again. And today's the day that you decide to make a new beginning. Alexa, we really appreciate you joining us. We appreciate the story that you're going to share and the things that you're doing. So tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start in the business? When did you transition into being a loan officer? What were you doing before that? Let's let the world get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. So a little bit about myself. So I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado. My dad PCS'd here back in 91, and this was kind of always been home. I didn't always know that. So I started as a flight attendant before I got in the business, actually. Figured, like everybody else, I'd find myself and travel the world. And so my dad, Rick Ward, is been in the business. This is his 8th year. And I was in Chicago, came back to Denver, and little did I know, Dad had a plan for me that I didn't have for myself. And so he sat me down one day and was like, hey, you're coming to work for me. And I, being a rebellious daughter, said, no, thank you. Not happening. But I didn't really have a choice. I started April of 2017. This is when he told me that. And came back home. It was kind of a chance for me to rediscover the city I grew up in, being away from college and figuring out life after college and then coming back. So then with this new industry that my dad was in, I was always curious, but I never really knew what he did. So I started studying. He got me in the back end stuff to kind of know how to spell mortgage, know what the loan process is, all the basic fundamental stuff. And little did I know I would love it because Dad always knows best. And thankfully you're recording this, so he'll hear that and hear me say it. But I decided to come full time and quit being a flight attendant July of 2017. And stuck around the back end stuff and started originating July of 2018. So that's kind of how I got into the business there.
Yeah. So I have to say, I've known your dad for a lot of years. He's an amazing guy, amazing man, and just been a really good friend to me. And he's also one of our top producer huddle members, as you as well. But enough about Rick, more about Alexa. So you've been in our coaching huddle, I guess, for how long have you been in our group now?
I signed up when Las Vegas. That was around October last year.
Okay. About 4 months now.
Okay. And to Sean's point earlier, we always hear these top producers that are being interviewed in the marketplace and how many, millions of dollars that they're closing each month. And that's a story that we all like to hear, and we like to get behind the scenes and look, behind the curtain and see what they're doing to be successful in their business. But Sean and I thought it would be a different flavor and that we'd go the other way. Not that you're not successful, but you've been doing this since as a full-time loan officer originator since July 2018. And it was funny because we were talking previously and you were like, it started off, you went from zero to $2.1 million in virtually just a few months, right? And you said that very nonchalantly, and I was like, wait a minute, come again? What did you say? And you said it again, like, but I'm still building, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm really, doing what's required to take my business, to a new level. And I thought, wow, Alexa, wait a minute. You gotta hear me out here. Okay, hold on just a minute. I gotta turn my Alexa off. It keeps coming up every time I say
So just for some clarity here, that 2.1 million, it was not one loan. That was 8 loans that Alexa did in order to get to that amount. Just so all of our listeners on the call are not wondering, well, did she just get one big loan that month?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But it's just amazing to us, Alexa. Like, it really is amazing to us. Not from a perspective of like, hey, like it doesn't happen often. It's rare that you have loan officers coming into the business as new as you were, and in that short period of time, having 0 loans in July to 8 loans in October for 2.1 million. So, sometimes people, like, they just get caught, like they get in their own way. They can't get out of their own way. They used to be successful, and they're not successful as they used to be, and therefore they're living in the past. And the message that we really want to carry today, what I think that a lot of loan officers could hear, is it doesn't matter where you're at in your business. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. If you want more success and you want to close more loans, like, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to do something different, because what you're doing currently, if it isn't working, like, do something else, right? So just share with us some things, Alexa, if you don't mind, about just some things that you've got going on in your world, and like, how does one go from 0 to hero in just a few months?
So I guess, it all starts kind of with the mentor. My dad, obviously, you mentioned, top producer. He's raised me always that Ward's never quit. And so I know what work ethic means, and I know what laziness means. It's kind of, you find a good balance of it. But now that I'm in the adult world, you kind of have to, know what it takes, know what activities that hard work is that's going to get you there, and execute on them. So my dad always told me, pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone. You can't be afraid to talk to people. And so I would just literally go to networking events to meet people. I would have lists that I'd had, and you just call, make the calls. It's a cold call, essentially. I'm new to the business. No one knows who I am. And so it's kind of like, oh, hey, like, here's Alexa. I would like to meet you. Let's get a cup of coffee. And they're like, who are you? Like, who is this? So it's going to be awkward. But if you are consistent, that's where it all started for me, picking up the phone and not being afraid to talk to people.
It's such a, like, that resonates with me, because I remember in 2003, February of 2003, when I got into this business, I did the exact same thing. No one told me to do it. No one gave me a script. No one told me what to say. It was just intuition that says, well, no one knows me, and I moved to a brand new town that nobody knew me, and like, I had everything against me. And I literally grabbed the local real estate books and magazines, and I opened them up, and I started calling agents. And if they were mean to me, well, I put horns on them, put an X through their face, and like, wouldn't call them. But if they were nice to me and at least had a conversation, I'd circle them. Even if it was like, no, I'm not interested, I've got a lender.
But that wasn't your yearbook?
No, that's my yearbook.
With the hearts.
Yeah. And so, you don't know who you don't know, and you have to start somewhere. And a lot of people just sit around and they hope. I'm going to tell you, man, like, one of the things I've learned in life is hope is not a strategy. So kudos for you for, like, doing the hard stuff, and getting out there and getting after it, even when you were brand new to the business. So mentoring. So tell us about the importance of mentoring. You talked about your dad kind of being there for you. You're in our coaching group. Maybe share some things with us about the coaching group that with us, and what you've learned from that, and maybe why we're different.
Yeah. So it for me, having a mentor, and obviously I am a little biased. I have a really good one with my dad, but it's important because being new, you don't know anything. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I make this successful in my own way, and make myself a little different than every other lender in town? You got to kind of have that support behind you, almost like an accountability partner. So a mentor / accountability partner that's going to, not afraid to pick up the phone and say, hey, did you make your calls today? Did you do this? Like, okay, well, why not? And not let you slack. And you got to have a little tough skin. You can't take it personally, because you want to choose someone who's they want you to excel and they want you to use all your potential. And so it's nice because when you're down on days where maybe every call that you make, except for one, is a no, and I don't like to hear the word no, it's kind of a pick-me-up, like, hey, what could I have critiqued or done better in my scripting? Or what could I have said this way to convert that lead rather than have them go with XYZ mortgage? So it's kind of nice to have that. And with coaching, so I'm in a group, so I'm with Kellen, and we have several people in our group, and they're all awesome. And I think what I like about the group setting too is, I mean, I've been to your guys' events, and I've been to one, I'm coming to the next one too, and those are all amazing. But then even breaking it down smaller to a smaller group, you dive into a little more of like scenarios that someone might see differently than you do. And then having Kellen there to kind of, you know, listen and then throw in his piece of knowledge. And it's like, wow, like none of us saw it that way. It's kind of really nice to have that support and new ideas, fresh ideas. Maybe something that like Brian in my group is doing in Utah is different than what Leah's doing in California. And you kind of make it specific to your market wherever you're at.
So it's really important for everybody listening here, you know, a seasoned loan officer, if you're doing 15 or 20 loans a month, you're at that point in your career. Like, there was a time that I did it, that Kenneth did it, that Alexa is still doing it right now. And we picked up the phone. We had to dial. Like, if you're not happy with where your business is and you're sitting here and you're just looking at your phone and you're like, ring, please. Like, it's probably not going to happen for you. So you have to do something. You have to do the work. Our number one principle inside of our coaching organization is do the work, and you have to take action. So Alexa, there's other things you did. You just didn't pick up the phone and call, but you became very present in the community, specifically the realtor community. So what did you start doing there to get exposure and be known as the Alexa that doesn't sit on your desktop?
So being new to and rediscovering my city, moving back home and all the building we're doing here, networking events. I went to a ton of networking events. I wanted to meet new realtors, meet other referral partners that aren't necessarily realtors. So like an insurance agent, an electrician, lawyers, financial planner, whatever it is. Like, I wanted to know who they were because they could all essentially be a tool that I could resource out to my clients eventually. And in return, like, you have to meet people. You have to build your book of referrals and resources for your clients. So networking, getting out and meeting those people so you can build that book. The Women's Council, I went to Women's Chamber. I mean, just literally Facebook local, Google things, and you can find events, the young professionals in town, young professional networks. I did it all, and it was exhausting. Like, I may seem young, but I like to be in bed early. And so you kind of have to really exert yourself. And if you're not a social person, that might be hard. I don't have that problem, but you're going to be uncomfortable. Even for someone as social as me, it was a little awkward. I hate going somewhere not knowing at least one person. So then I'm that weirdo that's going to come up to you and be like, introduce myself and make you talk to me. So that I did that along with my calls, and then kind of tried to, I mean, there's so many systems we can use, but if you can't track it or write it down, I made that mistake my first year. I was doing all this, but I didn't have it down. So I was like a chaotic organized. And so now this year, in kind of July when I started, I wanted to become a little more organized. So then you take those items that you're doing to get the business and you have to organize it and get it all together.
So you went to all these events. Were they all home runs? You get business from all of them?
No, not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of the people that I would meet frequently were friends now. Initially, no, but the more that I was consistent in showing up, they knew who I was. It wasn't just, oh, Rick Ward's daughter. It was Alexa Ward. So it was, and now I'm friends with a lot of them, regardless if they use me or not. They know who I am. And that's where you can kind of be a little more choosy on, okay, how do you want to build your business? And now that they know me, now I can come up with a strategy to maybe dive in deeper with that relationship.
Yeah, and this brings up a really valid point for a lot of loan officers out there listening. And you said it, it's like they know who you are, right, Alexa? So Alexa's saying, hey, they know who I am now. Doesn't mean they're necessarily sending me business, but you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to steer that client to another lender because they don't know who you are. How many realtors out there saying, who is this loan officer here locally? I don't know. I've never heard of them, right? Let me send them to my preferred lender, right? That stuff happens, man. Like I'm telling you, it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes just being known in the marketplace and having a good reputation is enough to keep clients to you and not being steered to other mortgage companies and or other loan officers out there. Just wanted to throw that out there because that happens.
It does.
So, and that really kind of changes the game when they start to know who you are. So like you went to these events, you didn't start getting business right away. When did it really change? So first you had to figure out which were the better ones to go to, mm-hmm. but you got to kind of use a shotgun approach at the beginning to hit a lot of them, right? Mm-hmm. To figure out where that is. And now it's not an instant gratification thing. Like the problem with salespeople, with us as loan officers in particular, we try something once that everybody says works. It didn't work for me. How many times you do it? Once. For how long? 4.5 minutes. Like,
so true.
Well, no wonder it didn't work. Like you got to put the plans in place in order to be successful. So like you said, the organization was a little chaotic and now you're kind of getting things streamlined. So what steps are you putting in place? Like, does that involve CRM, marketing, social, like what all are you putting in place for the Alexa Ward brand?
So I've done a lot and I've had a lot of trial and error in even just a short amount of time, but first and foremost, your CRM, because the people you're meeting, the people you talk to, it's hard to follow up with them sometimes because you forget, oh yeah, I made that call, but I left a message, never connected, but you didn't put it in your CRM. So you forget to follow up. And then the realtor's like, well, okay, well, let me know when you get a hold of them. And they start getting irritated. So CRM is where I started because I wanted to track everyone I talked to, even if it's an agent, whoever it is that I talk to for the day, I track it. I write it down. And I used to handwrite it all. I kind of still do. But you guys just implemented that Lion's Desk. So I'm trying to switch everything into there. So that's a new learning tool because the best CRM tool is the one you use. I had an Excel spreadsheet that I made myself starting out, and I know how to operate it well. But once my business grows, that's going to become unmanageable. So CRMs, as far as marketing, I like to be a big social media presence. So whether I'm good at it or not, I'm getting better. As long as you're consistent. So video is like the thing. Everyone, being newer, millennials, older people, whatever it is, everyone's sitting on YouTube at night or they're watching videos on Facebook, whatever it is, those dog videos, those goat videos, whatever it is, your face needs to be there. So I'm trying to do a lot more live. I used to do them kind of set in stone. I'd record it and then post it. I do a show every Thursday, the Ask Alexa show. I kind of have an easy one because with my name, the Amazon being out there, I took that and that's how I want to brand myself, like the real Alexa, Ask Alexa show. I do that every Thursday on Facebook. I try to post it everywhere else, trying to find new ways to get more traffic to like YouTube and the popular areas. You just got to be consistent no matter what it is. If you want to do a Tuesday show, a Wednesday show, or just hop on live every once in a while, whatever you choose to do, as long as you're consistent and you do what you say you're going to do, then it works.
She's like speaking our language exactly. I mean, like these words they could be flown out of any of our mouths right now, but being consistent, doing what you say you're going to do. I mean, you commit to doing what you say you're going to do. Like it's just that simple. And you need to rinse, wash, repeat. I mean, you just do it over and over again and the business comes. This is how in July, you close 0 loans, and in October, you close 8 loans. I mean, it doesn't matter, y'all, where you're at and how many years you've been in your business. We were talking before we started here about loan officers living Groundhog's Day. Well, first of all, Alexa, there's loan officers who have been in the business for 10 years that have never closed 8 loans in a month. But, there's also a lot of loan officers, they've been in the business 10 years. And, you know, it really kind of translates into 1 year of experience. If you've been doing the same thing year after year, it might work for you. You might be exactly where you want to be, but you're really not gaining experience. You've got to be growing. I mean, like, my personal philosophy in life is just, if I'm not growing, I'm dying. Like, I got to be getting better. And you've started down that path from day one. It's just awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. You know, if you're watching this, Sean's got this little thing on his next level banner behind him. You can't hardly see mine, but it says NOICTSY. And that's what we call no one's coming to save you. Right. And that's just kind of that's one of our principles, is like, no one's coming to save you, and you got to get off your butt and you got to do the work. You got to do, you know, everyone talks about being successful, but they just don't want to put a plan together and then be held accountable to that plan. So anyway, Alexa, congratulations to you on your success. It really is genuinely amazing. Like, I know that you were like, yeah, I mean, I'm working it. Like, and it's because your expectations are so much greater for yourself. But, like, you know, like, enjoy this time, enjoy the moment, enjoy knowing that, like, you know, being at that place in your business, it means that you're at least heading in the right direction. And I couldn't think of anyone to be more proud of that deserves that success than you. So
thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today, Alexa. KT, you want to send us out?
Yeah, sure. So check it out, everyone. As I always do, pull over your car, grab a pen, because, like, you got to stay in the conversation. Like I always say, stay in the conversation. And we have a free app that allows you to do that. And all you have to do is text the word next level to 36260, next level to 36260. Maybe come out and see us at one of our next events. I know that's where we met Alexa. She came out to our event. She eventually joined our coaching program and is learning a lot and taking her business to the next level. And we'd love to have you, even if it's for a 2-day class. But we got other value adds on that app. So put it on your phone and stay in the conversation, and we'll see you on the other side. Appreciate you guys.
See y'all.